Hey everybody, this is Caesar with Small Engine Velocity coming at you with a moto vlog on the Zuma, which, by the way, I love riding this thing. Unfortunately, this morning it gets hot and cold in Houston a lot, and I'm telling you, every motorcycle, scooter, car, everything that has a battery that needs it to start, I mean, the most they last me in Houston is like 4 years, maybe 5 years, if it's something that I drive a lot. But anyways, the hot, I mean, it was in the 70s last weekend, now it's back in the 30s again now. So that heat differential keeps ruining your batteries. Anyways, that's not today's subject. Today's subject is about motorcycle slash scooter insurance. I want to tell you a little bit of a story that I have with motorcycle and scooter insurance. So all this time I've had the Zuma, I've had the Ruckus, I've had the Zuma 2-stroke, I've had all the Lafons, everything I've ever had I've always put under liability insurance with uninsured motorists, and on some of the bikes I'll put where if it gets stolen or if it gets burned in a fire or something like that, but never full coverage. I don't know why, but even on the big bike, on the SV650, I didn't put full coverage, and it wasn't that expensive. I did own that bike. I actually own them, all of them, but so you can put that. But anyways, I digress. Oh yeah, I forgot to run the intro. Let's run the intro. Okay, now that we've run the intro, what I want to kind of get to is that if you haven't noticed, or I haven't seen any of the videos, or I haven't released the video yet on the introduction of the 2020 CBR 650R, that is a thing. It exists. I have recently traded that bike for another bike. Anyways, that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that after I got, while I was purchasing the bike, they asked me, hey, you need to put insurance on it. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll just swap it with the SV650 and everything will be fine. You know, it will be the same thing. And that's where I had a failure. That's where I failed in the process of being a smart dude, or someone never really ever brought this up. But anyways, what I was going from was an SV650 to a 2020 red, of course, CBR 650R sport bike, even though they're both about the same in power as far as I'm concerned so far, other than the RPM and all that stuff. But to me, I ride them about the exact same. Well, it went from, and because when I traded in the bike, I was short, you know, a few thousand less. I won't tell you how much, but I was short a certain amount less than what the actual total of the new bike was, which I did get a very good deal, and I did get a lot of money for my trade-in. But anyways, I had to finance part of it, and I forgot, or I guess I just didn't realize that when you finance and there's an underwriter on the bike, the underwriter basically you have to have full coverage on it. So I was like, okay, well, how much could possibly be full coverage? Well, let me tell you now that it was a lot more. Now, not that I can't rearrange a few things and make it work, but yeah, it was a lot more. So I did pay for 2 months of it, and now I started looking at other places, right? I started looking at other places, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just split the CBR onto its own insurance somewhere else, like Allstate or whatever, if it's too expensive at Geico or wherever, because I know it's too expensive at Progressive, because they always raise my rates, like insanely raising my rates, and it irritates me to no end. So I went to Geico, and it was a certain amount, And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. Like, I can't even pay for that annually. I have to pay for that month to month. So I was like, okay, well, how much is it if I move all the bikes? Well, lo and behold, it was like cheaper. It was a lot cheaper when I added the other bikes in there. It still cost less than what it was to cover it by itself. And I'm like, well, I wonder if I check another place. So I went and checked Allstate, and Allstate, it was a certain amount of money per month. And I'm like, wow, that's less, but it's still a lot. And then I added the Ruckus and the Zuma to it with just liability, and I was like, holy cow, that's a lot less per month. I mean, a good percentage, let's just say 25-30% cheaper. I thought that was pretty amazing for for that. And then I tried one more place because I saw a Facebook ad. It's called Haggerty or something. And well, let's just long story short, I put all the bikes on there with full coverage, and it was even less. So I guess what I'm getting at is, does anyone know how much Haggerty is? Like, how much is Haggerty? And if you were, okay, I just drove through a closed road, so don't do that. If anyone has it, I'd like to know. I thought it was for classic bikes, but I guess I'm wrong. It could be for any bike. So anyways, that's the lesson that I want to teach everyone. The lesson that I want to teach everyone is that if you are going to buy a new motorcycle or a scooter, please, like, at least get an estimate from a website to see how much it costs to put that bike on your insurance before you do anything else, to at least get an idea of it, because it may be larger than you thought. Because, you know, in my case, I went from a naked bike with this and that to a street bike with traction control. Well, the traction control and the ABS helped me, but anyways, you know, it's red, it's a sport bike, of course it's going to cost more, even though in performance wise it's not that much. So far, to me, it's not that much different. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with this moto vlog. Hopefully the microphone worked correctly and I just didn't drive around talking to myself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see everybody in the next video.